She's ready, Robert.
That's cool.
Call this meeting to order. Recording of members present. All members are here. Item 2, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Greenwood students, Creed Adair and Wyatt Reed, and boys, if you will come up here. Ms. Nemo is going to read a little bio on you.
Okay, we have Crew Adair. Could I raise your hand so everybody knows who's you? Second grade at Greenwood, Ms. Cochran's class. His parents are Ariel and Stephen Adair. He loves every sport, Pokemon, swimming, eating food, Hot Wheels, candy, and technology. I have a feeling that the two of our friends are going to be friends because they like a lot of the same things. And we have Wyatt Reed. Wyatt, give everybody a wave. Also in second grade in Ms. Cochran's class, his parents are Chase and Brittany Reed. Of soccer, video games, Pokemon, Nerf toys, swimming, loves cheeseburgers and ramen noodles. All right, boys, if you want to lead us in the pledge, the flag over there.
So we pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, don't run off yet. This is what you guys will want. There's some little goodies in here. Not a cheeseburger. Wait, I got one more. This is what your parents will want. And then if you guys will turn around, we're gonna take a picture if you don't mind taking a picture with us.
Now, next important look at me, okay? You ready?
All right, thank you guys very much.
Good job.
Bye, you guys, thank you.
Next item is to administer the oath of office to seat 5, elected board member Sean Crawford. Right hand. I, Sean Kaufman, hereby declare under oath that I will faithfully perform the duties of seat 5 Board of Education of the Tahlequah Public School District, number I-35, to the best of my ability, and that I will faithfully discharge all of the duties pertaining to said office, and obey the Constitution and laws of the United States and Oklahoma. Five more years. Five more years. Right up here. Yes. Item C. Discussion and vote to approve the following reorganization of the Board of Education. And item number 1 is the election of president, and then A, president, B, vice president. So at this point, I will take nominations for the office of president.
I'd like to nominate Ms. Walker for president.
Second.
You're welcome. Any discussions? Nothing good to say about me?
Although I think we have to ask if there are any other nominations.
Okay, are there any other nominations? No.
I was in a hurry. 1, 2, 3, not it.
Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Ebersol?
Yes.
Dr. Kaufman?
Aye.
And Mrs. Crawford?
Aye.
And aye. Now I would like to take nominations for the vice presidential position.
I nominate Sean Kaufman.
I'll second
Any discussion? At this point, should I ask for any further nominations?
Thanks.
Any other nominations? Okay. And this also, reorganization of the board that is, has to do with part two, with the appointment of the, clerk and treasurer and deputy treasurer and all of the other work in the board building. So at this point, we'll take a vote. Mrs. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coffin?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford? Aye. And aye. Should we vote again for the second list
Yes, but I think we can do them all at once.
once?
Yes.
Okay.
I will make a motion to appoint the following for the 25-26 school year. Clerk of the Board, Brittany Bloodworth, Treasurer, Kevin Dudley, Deputy Treasurer, Sabrina Garner, Encumbrance Clerk, Sabrina Garner, Minutes Clerk, Lindy Wallace, Deputy Clerk of the Board, Shauna Batson, Deputy Minutes Clerk, Karen Arnell, Activity Fund Custodian, Karen Arnell.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coffin?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford? And aye. Item D, Tigers Roar. And we have some district celebrations, so.
So we've had something really nice that has happened to one of our administrators recently, and I just want to ask Miss Amanda Vance to come towards the front, please. She does not know that I was going to talk
She knew
about
something
her
was up when
today.
Mark showed up.
Exactly.
So. She was like, what's going on?
So I want to read something that I wrote about Amanda. It's my pleasure to write this letter of recommendation for Mrs. Amanda Vance. I have worked with Ms. Vance for many years at TPS. She has served our community as a teacher, instructional coach, assistant principal, and principal for many years. Her dedication and service in each job prepared her for excellence in every role. Ms. Vance has a dedication to excellence and achievement for all students and teachers in her building. She is an expert at using data to improve instruction. She leads the PLC process with confidence and an expertise that creates a passion in the workplace. She is extremely methodical and goal-oriented and sets ambitious goals for her team. Goals they reach with the power and autonomy she models. She truly builds other successful leaders at every grade level. Ms. Vance is well respected by the Tahlequah community. Her students, colleagues, parents, and other educators look to her for innovative ideas and advice. She is a true servant leader, always leading by example. The systems she has worked hard to put in place have changed the landscape of the school she leads and will be maintained for those who come after her. This was something that I had turned in for OAESP Principal of the Year. And we found out a few weeks ago that she made the top 3, which is a great honor in itself. And then went through extensive interviews last week, herself, her staff, some of her parents, patrons, and we are happy to report that she was chosen as the runner-up. Awarded the second place for OAESP Principal of Excellence for this next year. She will be honored, I believe, at the COSA conference in June, and then will be asked to attend the OAESP conference in February of next year, I believe. And they were hoping that she would lead a session at that. I didn't quite sign you up for that, but I said something like that would happen. But we are very, very proud of you. What she prepared for this visit and what her staff prepared for this visit was nothing short of amazing. And she is all those things that I said in that letter and more. She is so intentional with everything that she does. And it has put in things that, and I know this is important to her, things that will last much longer than she will in the job. And that has been her goal this entire time. is to just have systems in place that when the next leader comes, when she decides it's time to retire or move on or go to Paris for a long vacation, that it will, Mark.
That's not your surprise.
They will. So we just wanted to publicly recognize you, to tell you how proud of you that we are. You're our number one choice, of course, but thank you for all you do. And I was going to give you roses, but then we got this instead because it's something that you can put out and love on all summer long.
Definitely me.
Mark will take care of it, maybe,
Yes.
and it'll be beautiful. But thank you, we're very, very proud of you, and you represent us so well. I tell
I will say that the packet process when I got that was, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
I should say, it's a lot of work.
Yes, let's get
It was daunting, for sure.
some of my friends in your building.
You go first on it.
You're just such an inspiration to the whole system.
Congratulations.
Right, we do have public to be heard, but Amanda, again, thank you, and we are all so proud of you. So item two, public to be heard, and I need to read these regulations first before Emily please speak to us. Members of the public shall be allowed to attend all meetings of the Board of Education. In addition, the Board of Education will have an item on regular meeting agendas that affords citizens the right to address the Board of Education on items pertaining to education and/or the operation of the school district. The item will appear prior to any business being conducted by the Board of Education. A resident wishing to address the Board of Education must fill out a form before the meeting and submit it to the board clerk. The speaker is to move to the lectern on being recognized by the board president and give his or her full name and address. The speaker will be allowed 4 minutes to address the board. Public comment will be limited to the first 5 individuals who sign up to speak and will not exceed 20 minutes. The board and administrative staff will not respond to questions or comments at the meeting. The resident may receive a written response as soon as possible. Questions and complaints pertaining to employees of the district will not be permitted at this time. Such questions are to be referred to the superintendent at another time. Presentation or discussion of matters which are currently under legal review will not be permitted. And this is TPS Policy 2217.
Do I need to stand over here? Okay, I'm really nervous, I'm sorry. I've typed up what I want to say for each one of you guys.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Uh-huh.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm gonna do my best, I'm sure to stumble through this, I apologize. Okay, good evening, members of the Chautauqua Public School Board of Education, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Emily Keys, and I come before you today as a parent and an advocate for empowering our young women through wrestling. Oh my goodness. Our girls wrestling team has demonstrated excellence not only in their athletic pursuits, but also in their academic achievements. Girls wrestling is one of the fastest growing high school sports in the United States. Our high school girls wrestling team is expecting a 65% growth just in the next year alone, considering our own TPS wrestlers advancing to high school. This doesn't account for the surrounding K-8 schools, possibly transfers, who would want to try this sport. This year, our Tahlequah Girls Wrestling Tournament was a huge success. Attendance at dedicated events continues to rise, showcasing and expanding interest in the competitive nature of girls wrestling here in our community. With our team's growth, so has our success. The girls' team has broken their record of state qualifiers each year by qualifying more than the year before. In the short existence, they have also had 2 All-Staters, and the first ever girls' state champion was a Tahlequah girl. They have done all of that within 6A. Our team's achievements extend far beyond the mat. In addition to their athletic success, our girls' wrestling team has earned back-to-back 6A academic state championships. This is an incredible achievement that highlights their dedication not only to the sport, but to their academics as well. These young women are excelling at the highest levels, competing with the biggest schools in Oklahoma. With the NCAA officially adding women's wrestling to its 91st championship sport, many colleges are starting their own women's wrestling programs, which means potential scholarships. Our girls deserve the facilities and resources to continue pursuing that success. At the end of the day, it is the fastest growing sport in America, and it is arguably the most successful program here over the last few years, having a winning season every year. When we factor in the physical nature of the sport, growth can even be hampered by practicing together. What other schools are doing to combat this and help encourage growth is giving boys and girls their own space to practice. If we look at softball and baseball, they don't practice together, or girls basketball, and it's pretty clear that the sport like wrestling doesn't need to be practicing together, especially if we want it to continue to grow. Despite their remarkable achievements and growing number of participants, our girls wrestling team still shares facilities with the boys team. They train in spaces that aren't fully equipped to meet their needs. We are the only school in 6A girls and 5A boys to limit our student athletes to training in only 2 mats. Others we are competing against not only have more mats, but even have separate spaces for girls and boys. To continue fostering their development and success, it is essential that we provide them a dedicated space designed specifically for their needs. Having their own space would also encourage more girls to try out for the team. The opportunity to train and compete in a dedicated, fully equipped facility would make girls feel that they belong and inspire more young women to join the growing sport. More participation would not only raise the level of competition, but it would also foster an even more community of support and pride. As women in leadership, you know the power and importance of supporting one another. By providing our girls with their own wrestling space, we would not only support their growth as athletes, but also reinforce the values of inclusion, empowerment, and equality. This space would allow these young women to continue excelling academically, athletically, and personally. That's okay.
It's okay. You can
Thank you.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Like 1 paragraph.
That is why I'm here today, to ask for your support in including a dedicated girls wrestling space in the upcoming bond measure. A dedicated facility not only would accommodate the growth of the team, but also a strong message about our commitment to providing equal opportunities for female athletes. It would empower these young women, providing them with the tools they need and to continue excelling both in academics and athletics. Supporting this initiative, as an investment to the future of our young women, boosting their confidence, leadership, and success. Together, we can ensure that every student in our district has the resources they need to thrive. Thank you for your time and your unwavering commitment to supporting every student in our district. Thank you.
And Emily, your address?
1213 East Boone Street, Tahlequah, Oklahoma.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Sorry.
Item F, discussion and vote to approve the meetings of the previous meeting, and this is the March 11, 2025 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs.
Aye.
Dr. Eversole.
Aye.
Dr. Collins.
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford. And aye. Item G, Deputy Treasurer to report and discussion and vote to approve the monthly financial reports. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Well.
The bank balance at the end of March was $21,769,508.55. Receipts for general fund for the month of March were $3,665,543.10. Building fund was $9,933.36. Sinking fund, $47,013.67. At the end of March, that left general fund at $10,543,643.49. Building fund, $6,221,313.80. Bond funds, we have $762,578. Sinking fund, we have $2,765,988.44. Activity account, we had $1,280,372.02. And then our utilities. Our electric was only $4,300 more. Our water was $9,300 more, but they've been watering the softball and baseball fields. And then our gas was $19,000 more. But that was, we had to run buildings 24/7 during that February week of really cold weather.
It's a bad month.
And you'll hear Jeff.
By the sounds of it.
Yeah, it's like not looking good.
Any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Not about the actual numbers, but about activity funds. And
Okay.
because I was looking, when you guys show us the tricks and show where it's funded. Is all of the money in the activity fund from some external source, advertising, ticket sales?
Any money that comes to that account is fundraising money.
Okay.
So donations of any fundraiser that they've done.
And so and I understand that we use gen fund to support extracurriculars, but when it says it's activity funded, that means all of the money being spent is from money that came in, not general fund that comes from all of our funding. Okay, I thought that was correct, but
It's actually against the law to transfer money between general fund and activity.
which is why we see some of them that are funded both, because we see part of it with activity and part with general.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Tell me again why the general fund is 10 million at this point. Why is it that much?
Why, well, the reason that we're at 10 million right now is we still have bills that have to come out of that.
Okay,
So it will go down because we still have payroll to pay for.
okay, so no payroll there, and so we'll get down to around the carryover of around.
Right now, I think
something.
today I sent her 5.2 million as of this morning is where we are with
Okay.
carryover. We have to remember that that's very fluid because let's say we have POs that are open right now and for some reason they don't get used, which happens, and we close those. Well, that puts more money in there, but we still have payrolls to pay for months. So, because in June, we'll pay June and July together, so that'll be your biggest payroll of the year. And so it's still gonna go down. But right now, this morning, we're at like 5.2 million is where we were with our carryover.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, a little above that 5 million mark, which we are.
Just right there,
We're trying to do today.
I think we're gonna come in above it, but hopefully nothing
So-
falls off
yeah.
the ears.
Well, Brad will ask for a car or
Something
something.
to
You know?
Well,
That's
For
for more
Robert.
steps.
Yeah.
more steps, $19,000 more on
Yes.
a bill for a cold snap.
So, and the sinking fund primarily at this point, is this money from the bond that we're finishing up?
The sinking fund is the money that we take in from ad valorem taxes, and that's what pays our bond
What we
payments.
pay on the bond?
Yes, so nothing can be touched in that unless it's for a bond fund, or if we had a judgment, we would have to go back to the county and we would have to say, this is what the judgment amount is, and then we would have to change a few things around. But that money is strictly for, to pay the bond payments.
I have a question. I just noticed there were some shirts in there. Do we do a bid for shirts or do we have to go with a certain company?
We
How does
do
that
not
work?
have rules as far as like who they have to use. And typically for you to go into a bid process, you're looking at over like $5,000.
Okay.
Now athletics, they do have a contract with a certain company that they have to try to use first. But as far as us requiring them to use one company, we don't require
I
that.
was just thinking, it'd be nice for us to use the people in town that support us.
Well, and the other thing with a bid is it has to be one item that costs the excess dollar amount, so like your t-shirts are $7. So there's no way we would ever go to a bid for that.
We do get some questions about the athletic contract, and that's a contract that I was gonna look into a little bit more closely, because I have heard that, teams wanting to use local companies instead of that contract. I don't know that contract well, so it's something that I need to look at and talk with our athletic director about. But, I mean, she speaks to it correctly. It lays it out where we try to use this company if for some reason they can't meet the need immediately. Like, for example, if basketball makes state, they don't know that till the weekend before. That large company cannot turn around and get that done that quickly, but you can work with a local company and they will whip it out for you very quickly and get that done in time for us. So, we love to support local, and so I think that's something that we need to look at very closely.
Somebody said something to me and I didn't really know, and they also said that they could do shirts cheaper than what we're getting, and so I'm thinking, oh, I'll have to check on that, and then they said we support the schools with their percent, right?
Well, we have a procurement policy, and so every time we go to buy something, we have to follow that policy. And so that's like if you need to get 3 written quotes to do something, or if you have to actually go out for an RFP, bids and all that. So there's actually a policy that we follow.
But Coach Cloud does the presentation, I believe, next month, and I could ask him to maybe give you guys some information about that, that'd be helpful.
Well, even buildings
What
that's
makes like choir shirts and everything.
I'm thinking about everybody.
Yeah.
If you buy a bunch of shirts for the board and I mean all that.
So, and those we do, we go between different entities in this town. And I think, I would say from a building level, when they buy shirts for their buildings, I'm looking at the best job ever right there on and that came from somewhere local. So I know that, when we buy shirts, we try to go between the different people that are supportive to us.
Yeah.
Because I think they are very supportive of our schools, and so we try to do that from that. The OSSAA level, everything that's covered in that, I think is probably what that contract covers. Like the competitive extracurriculars at the secondary level.
Okay.
But I will get information.
I didn't take a motion on that, did I? So we need a motion.
Move to approve items G1 through 4.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Aye.
Dr. Everson.
Aye.
Dr. Conover. Aye, Mrs. Crawford. Item H, discussion and vote to approve the application for temporary appropriations for the 2025-26 fiscal year. It's 1 and 2 general fund and building fund. Do I have a motion?
I'll make.
She will.
You go ahead and I'll second it.
All right, I'll make that.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
So Sabrina, do you want to explain?
So, I forgot this was actually. So we had talked about this before, this is what the auditor gives us, and it's literally just based on what we collected last year. It's a percentage of that, and this is what we are able to start the new year with until we actually get our real appropriations. So now we can open next year,
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
Everyone knows. Any other discussion? Steve? Aye. Dr. Everson?
Aye.
Dr. Conover?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford and I. Item I, Principal Director's Report. We have Director of Operations, Brad Jones, that's very important.
Long time no see.
I know.
So I'll be very brief because I know Jeff's gonna come up and talk to a few things, but something I wanted to touch base with you guys about is the utilities, what we've been saving so far. I think when I originally gave you, I didn't have the current utilities, so I've updated those numbers, and then right now, for the year, we're saving about $48,000.
How much?
$48,000 on electricity. So if you look at that $48,000 and you think about the $86,000 we saved last year, we're saving this additionally on top of that. So we're doing very, very well, which is also showing us that our programs that we did, our projects, they're working. So I'm also looking at our kilowatt usage. I'm trying to compile that in my free time to see if we can have other numbers that we can show you that it's all working like we should. And Jeff will touch on a little bit of that. So our water savings, it didn't change much. It was about $100 more. But we didn't really have any savings right now because of, well, we had that extreme drought in the fall. So we were watering all the time just to keep things going. So we had 2 months where we had a water bill that was about $8,000. So that's unfortunate, but we gotta have good playing surface for the kiddos. Our sewer savings, we're saving about $1,200 right now for the year. And then right now our gas, we were saving, but with that last gas bill that we had with the increase per unit, they told us it was about $2 per unit price increase for that cold snap. So we're in the negative right now, about 10 on the gas. But if you start looking at the usage, what we use, that'll give you a better number of what we do, which we just don't have. The other thing I want to talk about is just the work orders that we completed this year is 3,652. We completed 90% of these, and these have all been since July 1. Guys have been doing a great job of completing them and trying to get them done, so 10%, I can live with it. We got an A grade right now, so we're doing well. And the cost associated with these work orders is about $252,000 that we had this year. In the previous year during this time, we had $481,000 tied up to the work orders. And we had about the same amount of work orders, believe it or not. So the projects that we have engaged with ESP have helped reduce some of our operation costs. And also some of the stuff that we've been trying to do to save money is whatever we can do inside, try to do inside, stop outsourcing as much.
So that's what you're talking about with the work orders we've saved based on the fact that we are doing
Yes.
jobs, yeah.
So we're trying to do our part to save money and that's pretty good significant savings. So, but anyway,
We have very talented individuals, and Brad does a very good job of leading them. Brad and I are best buddies. We talk all day long right now because we have so many irons in the fire, so to speak, that we are going from one large project to the next large project, to the next large project, to the next large project. And they're all good things, but I certainly, he is earning his salary right now, I promise. And he does a really good job of balancing all of those things, and it's you make my job much easier because I don't have the talents that you have, so we're a good balance to that, to accomplish what we need to for our school district. So I just wanna publicly say that and say
I
thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm just loving on all the Jones children today.
Brad, I have a specific question about how they do our sewer. Because I know like when you're at home, it is just a straight percentage of your water usage. Cause,
You didn't know that?
well, I'm just curious because like I only know I had a water leak and they say, well, if you show me from the plumber that it didn't go down your drain,
Yep.
then we don't charge you sewer. Well, if we're watering fields, it's not going down our drain.
So our sewer did not go up because on those fields, we actually had irrigation meters.
Okay, they have separate meters on those. Okay, that's what I
So
was
that helped
wondering.
us out.
That's why that is still lower even though our water was significantly higher. Okay, that was my question.
But then, so anytime we do have a leak, we do find that leak We take pictures of it, we send it to TPWA, and they do make some adjustments on our sewer release to try to help us.
Any of our outside watering is on its own meter, or is it just like the playing fields?
The baseball, softball field is on their own irrigation meter. The football field at the track is not. So that one does have the sewer cost of those.
We should ask them to
That one's a
get
little,
someone.
that one's a little difficult to get to. And we've been looking into it and trying to figure out the best way, and we just haven't come up with a solution yet. But yeah, we are still looking into it.
And I will explain that, because Sean asked me a question that, I often, when Brad and I do things together, I explain that he is not my husband. My husband does work here, but his name's Dwayne, and that's my honey, shout out honey, it's usually watches this, but, Stephanie, Amanda and Brad are brother and sister. I'm not sure if
I
you
didn't
all
know
knew
that.
that. When she said we should have had our mom here, I'm like, yeah, it's fine, it's because they have the same mom.
I was like, are they related? They're brother and sister, and I went, what?
So I'll leave it over to Jeff now.
You want to introduce him?
This is
I
Jeff
think
Blackman with
Yeah.
Energy Solution Professionals.
Alright. Well, after she said that the costs are up, that, like you said, that feels a little odd, but, I'll get into that as we go through it. So we just wanted to, you can go to the, I know you guys are going into a session, so I'll try to be brief, but also, if you have questions, feel free to ask as we go along. Gonna provide an overview of the project that we, have done for you guys, give you an understanding of what the measurement verification process was that we used, what the results were, and what the savings would have been achieved from the project that you all did with us. And so, quick overview of the project. It's pretty much your whole district, right? And we did two projects, as you know. We did a lighting phase, which was phase one. That was about an $800,000 project. And phase two was building envelope, water conservation, controls, heating and air conditioning. It was a more holistic look at your facilities and some improvements. I do need to say one thing that we really absolutely expected to be 100% done by now, but unfortunately the TMAC units, the contractor that bid on the project initially, when they submitted what they had bid to us and we reviewed their submittal, it was not gonna work at all, and so we kinda had to go back to the drawing board. And then unfortunately, those units, I don't know if you guys know, but those rooftop units that we're gonna install there had a 36-week, lead time. 36 weeks. So we've kind of twiddling our thumbs waiting for those units, but they're due here pretty soon. And the plan is absolutely to be done before the start of this coming school year. So that's the project. Those are all the things we installed. As you can see, it was a fairly comprehensive, broad scope of stuff. As part of this program, we are contractually required to measure and verify and prove to you that the savings occurred. And this was a process that we went through talking with Tanya and Brad at length. And you can notice that the methodology that we used in all cases was option A from what's called the International Protocol for Measurement and Verification. Option A means that we measure what the efficiency and the energy consumption of the equipment that was there originally, and then we measure what the energy consumption is afterwards. So there's no question about did we achieve what we said we would achieve in order to, So lighting, pretty simple. You measure the power at the switch, how much power do these lights draw, how much before and after. And each one of those water, if you replace a toilet, you can measure how much the flush was before, and you can measure how much the flush was after, right? Weatherization, so seals around doors and along windows and walls and stuff. We took pictures of every situation, measured the amount of the crack, did a delta T from interior temperature out. So we did a very thorough job of calculating and being able to prove to you whether we achieved what we said. I think one of the keys, let's go to the next one. this is where there's gonna be a disconnect from what she said to what we're saying, okay? And I think there will be some explanation around it, but, because we use the option A, we know the magnitude of kilowatt hours and therms of gas and gallons of water that were saved, right? But that is very specific to each measure that was installed. It doesn't look at the whole district. And one thing that you would notice, if we didn't say that we're gonna save 100% of the energy in your district, right? It was maybe 30% of your electric that is associated with lighting. That you use a lot more electric than just lighting, right? And similarly, like the water conservation, we actually saved a massive amount in the elementary schools where we changed out, but we didn't do the high school because it was a little bit higher payback than what we wanted. So the buildings that we did water conservation in, candidly, if you water your football field for one night, that's more water than the flushes that you have in the elementary school. So your net cost, it gets lost a little bit, but the reality is in those schools, the amount of water that you use went down dramatically, right? And similarly, like, if we go to the next slide, this is one where, man, I can't see it, so I'm not even gonna try from here, my eyes are no good, so, but I'll just tell you that this is in the measurement verification report, Tanya, that we sent to you. This identifies for every measure that we implemented, what we projected the usage savings would be. And then the measurement verification, actually, we did the before and after to prove that we did achieve that for you, okay? But as an example, if the gas cost went up $2 and it was $3.75 before, that month, you were paying over 50% more in a month where you use a lot of gas. So ironically, and we had this conversation, I don't know if you remember or not, but you said, what happens when the rate goes up? The thing that's crazy, that in your chairs, you see the net cost go up. But the reality is, if you hadn't done the savings, you would be paying way more, right? And so I'm very sorry, I wish that if rates had stayed the same, everything had stayed the same, you would actually see a real significant, and on the electric side, we did kind of see that on the lighting right away, right? Unfortunately, but one of the things that we're going to do on an ongoing basis is take those measurements each year and demonstrate, and if something falls out of whack, then we fix it and make it so that you're getting the savings, okay? So, does that make sense? Okay, and I'm being really high side, I apologize, but,
I
okay,
remember us talking about this when we voted for the project, because you can't guarantee
the
present
rates.
day dollar savings because you don't know what the rates are.
That's right.
You can guarantee you save this many kilowatts or this many gallons or.
And so actually, let's see, can you go back one?
Back slide? Back up.
Yeah, the previous slide, oh, you have to have it,
Yes.
you have to have
We
it.
would not have done it, it
Yes.
went up to, we would have had a significantly higher bill.
This slide?
Yes, you'll notice on this one, we have projected savings guaranteed and what we achieved. And we actually took a negative, we wanted you to know that what we had felt like you could achieve from a controls perspective on set points and doing scheduling, that you could turn equipment off in the evenings and you could have temperatures that were a little bit cooler in the winter and a little bit warmer in the summer. We know from now working with Brad extensively, when you get really cold snaps, the buildings don't catch up. So he has to run the buildings all day. So we actually calculated what that impact is, that you're not able to achieve what we had felt like you would be able to achieve. And the irony is, even with that deduct, we're still saving more than what we had guaranteed, okay? And you'll notice that there's a big difference between the guarantee amount and the projected amount. And that's because Tanya and Brad were really candidly quite conservative. Usually, school administrators try to do as big a project as they can to maximize the amount of stuff that they can get done. And I have no problem with it, you were conservative, but, so the guarantee amount is actually much less because the guarantee that we give is that there will be enough savings to cover the debt service, okay? So I just want to be clear that that's part of why, it's a little bit lower guarantee and there's such a big, we usually only have about a 10% spread between what we project and what we guarantee. But in this case, because we did less project, and actually what that means, note one is kind of important, this is why I wanted to go back to this, is 100% of the excess savings, any extra savings that's generated, that goes to the district. We don't participate in that, ESP doesn't participate in that at all. So in essence, Tanya created a positive cash flow for you by doing it this way, so.
That was, remind me, so it wasn't a loan, because it's we call it something else.
It's tax, it's a tax
Lease purchase, because we don't take loans, but
Yeah.
we took that and paid you all upfront all at once.
No, so as a matter of fact, we still have like 500, 600,
Yeah.
We paid you as you did,
As
so not
you
upfront, but as
yeah,
you complete steps.
That's right. So
And
as,
then the
as,
idea is we use the savings to repay the lease purchase agreement.
Right,
That's
so worst case
That's
scenario, we make enough money to make the payment, and break even, but we still have nicer facilities, and nicer,
Right.
more energy conscious things. But the fact is, we will have enough savings to make that, and then like he said, have a more positive cash flow. So we make money on it and improve our facilities.
And I can.
and I really shouldn't say this, but I'm going to,
No.
because it was just so ironic to me that I actually sat in the board meeting, this was about 15 years ago for a school district, a very small rural school district. Their wrestling program was gonna have to be canceled because they didn't have enough money. We created enough positive cash flow that they had money to pay for the wrestling. So I just, as I was sitting there, it was kind of ironic to me that she was talking about, hey, wait a second, I've used energy for a wrestling. Anyhow, so I'm sorry, that's, you guys do what you wanna do, obviously. So, okay, any questions or anything, is that?
Oh, I was gonna say one thing, I can tell you, just for the building envelope where they're doing the thermal blocking inside the middle school was a big drastic change. While we were doing it, we could tell that it was cold that night. You could feel the cold air, but as we were putting it up, each area that they put it up, you could tell it was nice, it felt warm, tight. So I know it's more energy efficient now. And that was just for the feeling of it, so I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that it is a very big benefit. And I think
Where were you, what building?
middle school,
Middle school.
Middle school had-
Blocking.
giant
Yes.
like 2 foot, almost 3 foot areas where we just had wind infiltration, air infiltration coming in. And they had put blocking up there, and it really worked out very well. And all of the buildings during that cold snap, where they would normally get down to 68, 65, and get low, they all stayed in the 70s. So, which is telling me that what we did was very beneficial.
And we didn't have
And I didn't have any
pipes.
breakage.
No. Yeah.
So, that was a big
Yeah,
deal.
that's huge.
First time since they've been.
Oh, I might make one more comment. Part of what we did was we identified, here's the things that will save energy. And then we talked with Brad about where are the systems that are causing you the most headaches? Where are the things that are breaking the most? And so the positive cash flow was used to address some of those worst case units. And the TMAC units are part of that, right? But so that's probably part of why, because we replaced some units and or repaired like at Green
Middle school?
Yeah.
I agree with you, in multi-zone.
Right, yeah, we completely retro commissioned some multi-zones that were a lot of problems, ductwork that was leaking terribly, we fixed all that. And so now it's more comfortable and you're not paying as much for maintenance, so that's the size benefit. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff, we
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it took long to.
No, you did good. Yes.
All
to get out of here, so I'm not tempted to keep.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, take care.
Item J, superintendent.
Jeff is super, super smart. And so I'm like, okay, you're gonna have to come in and talk to us on our understanding level of terminology, but he has really done what, his company has done what it said it would do, and we're seeing the benefits of that.
Absolutely.
We have 520 employees, as of right now, 3,623 students, that's down from 3,635, last month. We have 180 pre-K students, 445 at Cherokee, 490 at Greenwood, 500 at Heritage, 707 at the middle school. Probably feels like 707,000 at this point in the year. 1,301 at THS and Central, and we have no transfer spots for this fourth quarter. Just a few updates on bond. Roof repairs around the district have started. So we use some of the remaining bond funds, and Brad works with the roofing consultants. They gave us roofing reports about what we needed to do around the district to get them all up to where they need to be safe and effective, and that work has begun. The marquee at the Performing Arts Center has been ordered, and we're hoping that's going to be installed pretty quickly. Cherokee parking lot, we were able to extend that. It's not concrete or asphalt, but it is, the city helped us with some millings. They've been working on that, and then it will be compressed, and we will have parking blocks.
We did that today, actually.
Did that today,
And
very good.
It turned out very, very well, so now we just need to put parking blocks on and we'll have.
And then we'll have yes, and increased parking.
Much needed.
Yes. The transportation gate, that's already, the fence had been installed, the gate was up. The scanning capabilities for cars, so we'll be able to, I think Thursday, actually, it was supposed to be here on Thursday, so.
Tomorrow.
The barn, the building package has been ordered, yesterday, Brad sent me some pictures and I heard some stories, today where, the ICTC students actually came up, with their instructor and their heavy equipment and worked on building the pad for the barn. So, it's a combination of those two entities working on that. And then working, with our construction management today, he said, a girl came up as they had blueprints, and she's like, can you explain those to me? And then he spent like 10 to 15 minutes like doing a little mini class on how to read blueprints with these kids, and so they're getting involved in creating that. Building package is ordered and should be here in May. We'll have everything ready at that point, and then we're right on target so far to have that barn ready for our kids in August. The armory, we are hoping to close around June 2nd. This would allow construction to begin, in a perfect world, in August. It's never as quick, it's a hurry up and wait kind of thing with that, but we're doing everything we can to be prepared for. So once that goes through, we will, be ready to start moving on things as quickly as humanly possible. Meeting all the guidelines for posting and the Title 61 and having bids out so long. We'll do all the legal requirements. If we can get started by August, that's great, but by September 1, I would hope would be the latest if we have the June 1st completion day, or if we close on around June 1st.
Okay, do we think that's 5 to 6 months worth?
I'm told less than that, but
So 2 more than that, so it's really 9.
I would love to say we would begin August 1st and we would be in there by January 1st. But everything would have to go exactly right, I think, for that to work. And it is, it is a renovation. There are many pieces of that you just don't know what you're gonna find until you rip it open. So we were talking about one side of the building, where we have offices. Not everything can have a window, but where it can have a window, we would love for it to have a window. There are windows on that north side of the building, they're just covered in metal. And so if we can cut them back in, we will. But until we acquire it and can go knock it down, we're not exactly sure what we're gonna find. So you're a praying person, pray it goes well.
Knock down walls or
Knock down walls,
windows, we're not knocking the armory down.
No, oh, yes, not knocking it down. So a lot of exciting things going on for that we're hoping that we'll be able to close and then we will get very specific from there. March attendance, actually, I believe it went up at every site, so that was good. Sequoia had 92.2, up from 88. Cherokee was 94, up from 92. Greenwood was 93.5, up from 91. Heritage was 94.9, up from 91.8. Middle school was 93.2, up from 89, and high school was 91, up from 89. So, good increase in attendance in every building. So that's good. I think maybe the winter illnesses were getting better.
The NEMOs did not help with those numbers. The NEMOs did not help, we were sick.
And now we have allergies, so I'm curious to see what this month will be like. But child nutrition data, we served 63,894 meals in 15 serving days. We will owe chart bills $204,467. We had 35,000 and some change in other bills for expenses of about $239,722. We'll be reimbursed $240,000, so we're in the black for like $367. So, we're doing good. TMS, 20% of the students are eating breakfast. It started at 20%, 25%, 25%. THS had served 20%, then 25%, and then 22%. So breakfast numbers have increased, and that's what we wanted. I've been out in the schools in the mornings. You see the grab and go carts. Was at the middle school, I think, this week, and I saw kids stopping and getting things. And so it's going in the right direction, and that's what we wanted. So that's good. Another news in child nutrition. The State Department was here for a little over 3 weeks, and we passed our review.
Yay.
We did have one. We can no longer. Well, one of the things we were doing, trying to get our supper numbers up, was teams and after school, but we can't send the meals off campus. So they did tell us that we needed to edit how we were handling that. So that will make the supper numbers go down a little bit. But maybe one day we can rewrite an application the way we can be able to get that. But a 3-week review is a long review for any in-person review that's a long time. And our child nutrition team with our child nutrition company did very well. I mean, they work in tandem very well, and so I believe that the State Department was very pleased. The woman that has been here has been wonderful to explain all the new, and we just have an interest in learning how to do everything correct. And she knows that, and so as she went through things, told us the best way to do things, gave us advice for things, because we want A+ on everything. And I want to thank Lacey and Heidi and Colin and Victoria for all that they're doing in child nutrition, because it's a big piece of our financial piece and our operational piece. So thank you for that. Just some dates. This Thursday night, we have the OSSBA Zone 8 meeting in Muskogee. Remind you about the TOY, the Teacher of the Year and Retiree Reception on April 22nd. The Honor Grad Luncheon, and you're all invited to attend, is on April 30th at 11. Accent on Excellence, and I'll send this to you, Friday. May 21st at 8. And our graduation again is on a Sunday afternoon, so I keep saying Sunday afternoon because people are not, that's new. And that's all I have for today.
I have heard lots of people happy about having a Sunday graduation. I think we may be asked to do it that way. For one, you have other area schools, so people get to go watch other friends and family, and people come in, and for people traveling, coming on a Sunday afternoon is often much easier than coming on a Friday evening. And I mean, I've heard lots of people are happy that we're doing it on Sundays.
We have too. We've talked about it, wondering if this will be the first of the rest of graduation traditions. because we have heard the same type of
And
comments,
having
so.
a party, you know,
Yeah.
people do their family parties and have dinners, and yeah, I heard lots of, and most people know we moved it for a reason, but they're happy about it.
I think those that have moved it like this for a reason end up not going back.
Good reports. Item K, discussion and vote to approve the following surplus. One, two, and three, so Central Greenwood and California High School, do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Nima?
Aye.
Dr. Russo? Aye. Dr. Crawford? Aye. Mrs. Crawford? Aye. Item L, business items, consent docket vote to approve the following. And this is 1 through 4. On item L1C, we can strike, I think, exclude item C. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ms. Nino?
Aye.
Dr. Everson?
Aye.
Dr. Cox?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford? And aye. Item M, discussion and vote to approve the schedule of encumbrances. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Any discussion? Ms. Nino?
Aye.
Dr. Everson?
Aye.
Dr. Cox?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford? And aye. Item N, executive session. Executive session authority 25 Oklahoma statute 307B 1, 2, and 7. The board proposes to discuss the following matters during its closed session. Superintendent evaluation part 1 with the 2 domains of operations and staff relations HR. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Any discussion?
Aye.
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 Mrs. Crawford and aye. Okay. With that.
You are welcome to stay, but I would go home if I was you.
There's not much left.
Yes.
This.
Okay, item O, let it be noted that we return to open session at 8:29. Item P, a statement of the executive session minutes, focusing on operations and staff relations, HR. The board completed part 1 of 5 of the superintendent evaluation for the 2025-26 school year. Item Q, motion and vote to approve the following personnel items, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 through 9, is that correct? Yes. With item 2, let me add these names, employment, Leah Arnell Sheets, LPN, school nurse. Gracie Davenport, teacher pending certification. Amanda Harris, teacher pending certification. Dusty Cyphers, TMS principal. And we marked out the second name. That name was withdrawn.
Okay.
So I made the motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Coffin?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford? Aye. And aye. What's second now? This one. Yeah.
We got it.
Item R, new business, and we do have new business. Item RA, 1, motion and vote to approve the following trips. 1, Mandy Stafford and Charlotte Wyman, United States Marine Corps Educator Workshop, San Diego, California, April 28th, 2025, May 2nd, 2025. U.S. Marine Corps funded. Well, I made the motion, so do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Ms.
That'll be
Nemo?
a bad trip. Sandy, I got it.
Ms. Nemo?
Aye.
Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Kaufman?
Aye.
Mrs. Crawford?
Aye.
And aye. And with that, we are adjourned.
That was